So once you have your value scale for these cells established, this is how you're going to shade your first layer of cells. This will be how you shade your second, your third, and your fourth. So keep this paper. And then grab your drawing paper. And again, I've got a stack of paper underneath. I think it just helps cushion your pencil against the table. If there are any chips or anything like that in your table, then those will be less likely to show up if you've got that extra cushion under there. Okay, so what you're gonna do and how you're gonna start is you're gonna make about 7 cells on your paper. Now the cells are not going to touch they won't touch each other, and they won't touch the edges of the page. All right, now they'll be close, and if you end up with more than 7, then that's okay. Now, you'll notice that I am using a 6B pencil. All right, that is going to allow my darker values to be even darker than a regular HB pencil. If you'll remember, the darker values will allow your drawings to pop more. You do want these to be quite large, so that's 5. We're going to do 4 total layers, so there's 6. And there's 7. Okay. And then I'll probably go ahead and put in a little one right here just to kind of fill in those gaps. We want to make it almost look like a web, or these cells are kind of expanding all the way to the edge of this paper. So now I'm going to start shading, and I'm going to use this technique where it's very light on the outside and it fades to the white of the paper for all of these cells that I have just drawn. Guys, so we have our first layer of cells or shapes done, and this first layer took me about 15 minutes. So keep in mind that I have done this before. I have the muscle memory built up for shading, so give yourselves plenty of time when you are completing these projects. Give yourself at least 30 minutes to get this layer done. All right, the second layer we're going to shade like this, so it's going to be a little bit darker on the edges, and the whole center will be shaded. Instead of fading to white like these do, the whole center is going to be shaded. So these cells are going to be in behind this layer of webbing. Again, they're going to be organic shapes, and we're not going to draw on this white part. So there's one. Again, we want these to be pretty big. Just like the other ones were, you want a little bit of tension between the shapes, between one shape edge and another. So I've got my drawing pencil back again, or my 6B pencil. Again, if you don't have a shading pencil like this, then you can just use a regular wooden pencil. But again, I don't recommend a mechanical pencil, mainly because the lead is just too sharp. So you get really fine lines and detail lines as opposed to that soft edge that you're gonna get when you start shading with the wooden pencil. So I'm gonna start with this smallest shape, build up my darker border here. Now we have our second layer done. Again, this layer took me another 15 minutes, okay? So give yourselves another 30 minutes. So now you're up to an hour total just with these 2 layers, okay? Here is our third layer. It's the same idea as our second layer. We're not gonna draw on the white space, but we're also not gonna draw on these layers of webbing that are below that top layer, all right? So we're going to do the same thing. So let's create some more cells that occur underneath these openings. Shade it at the level 3 value scale. All right, so we're definitely getting darker around the edges, darker towards the center. Get your paper out, and let's start with this one right here. Our third layer, and now we are ready for our fourth and final layer. It will be the darkest cell, so it will look like more like a solid void. And again, we're going to be connecting these layer 3 cells, and we are not going to be drawing on layer 1 or 2 or 3.